Also in the winners quarterfinals, we had 2 matches going to a 3-2, 2-game 5. So it has been close overall.
And without further ado, these guys are ready to get right into it since it's a late night. And Darkwing versus Devolution Derby is set. Race number 1. It's always great to see these race ones because you get to see the feel of how each one of the competitors are going to play right now. Both very strong with their chains at the beginning. Dev a little bit unfortunate with the clear there, and his time's going to go up to 27 seconds compared to Darkwing's 15 seconds. But as we've seen, the lead does not matter too much at the beginning of the race.
No, it can definitely go either way at any point.
We've seen the strategies between a lot of competitors that a big determining factor in usually who comes out on top in these matchups is who incorporates a little bit more combo game. Because I think it's safe to say with everyone left in main bracket, they can be pretty consistent with the amount they want to chain. It's just whether or not you find those, 5+ combos to separate and stack up more lines and just get those quicker kills. And I think maybe Darkwing is a little bit more proficient in that department, but Dev will definitely, he does not drop a lot of chains.
No, besides the controller issues he had earlier this tournament, he has been pretty... I think he has been pretty consistent overall.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, yeah, he was in your group, I think, Wiki?
Yeah, he was.
Do you... Well, I guess because Darkwing was in my group as well, we have a little bit of personal experience with both of them, and I played Darkwing in main bracket. So, do you remember anything from that match, even though it seems like it's probably forever ago at this point?
Yeah, I do remember, because that was still a best of 3. So first of 2 games basically, and the first one was pretty... I had it pretty much covered, and the second one, I think we were both at Bowser. I think we were like neck and neck the whole race, so yeah, he can definitely pull off some good times from what I've seen and played myself, of course.
And I would say Darkwing is a very hot and cold player. There's been plenty of times I've seen him pull off those low 10-minute, 9-minute times. But there are several parts where I've seen him hit a wall and his time shoot up to the 13. I think even a 14-minute time we've seen from him before. So he's really got to be on top of his game in order to take out Dev, because I'd say Darkwing's peaks have been higher, but Dev, the overall consistency, even though his, average time was worse, obviously. But I think the peaks made up for it for Darkwing there.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that one.
Okay, it's hard to say since it was group stage, best 2 out of 3s, people were still trying to, improve as the tournament goes on. Bracket stage is a whole nother beast, as you'll see in this match.
Yeah, what I find interesting in this match so far, this has been a recurring theme throughout all of the matches in the main bracket, but lead swap back and forth almost every single stage so far.
Oh, very similar to the match that we saw last time too, which I believe was a Shadow and Paratroopa. One of the closest sets I've seen by far during this tournament.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of close sets at this point.
It's been getting so much more ridiculous. It was kind of off to that slow start at the very, very beginning of the tournament, as we saw. Then again, it was a lot of big skill gaps, I would say, at the beginning. But as players have been progressing, the matchups have been getting a little bit closer. it's been like exciting since I would say group stage week 3 and onward, man. We've had so many upsets, so many game 5s now. It's terrific. But yeah, as you mentioned, Wiki, these guys have just been swapping leads back and forth right now. Still pretty much maintaining on that same stage, though. And now...
Yeah, it's...
Oh, God.
Yeah? I think this is the first time somebody kept the lead after a different stage.
Yeah, I was afraid it was going to keep continuing to be true because Lunchfish did find that clear there. And all it takes is one clear to find a little bit more magic to keep going. But that wasn't the case on Darkwing's side. And same for Lunchfish on Dev's too. That was really scary because all those panels were falling from up above. It could have easily just resulted in some random chain happening, but it did not. And that left pillar did not drop to induce any more shake time. So Dev going to be able to keep up with Darkwing right now.
But yeah, it seems like Darkwing, after a little bit of a rough start, finally found his game and his rhythm. He has been consistent for the last 3-4 stages, so... Yeah, what I see on Dev's side a lot is just free chains falling for the AI. I've seen that now 3 stages in a row as well.
Yeah, that's pretty unlucky for his part, especially since Darkwing is going to continue to keep rolling here. He started Cave at a low 6-minute time, and he's going to finish Hookbill at still that sub 7. About a full stage up right now. You would say this was a little bit slower than average of what we've seen from other competitors in this bracket stage, but then again, it is game 1. We've seen a lot of matches where it's just taken a while for these competitors to get warmed up, and then they crank out these really fast times. Dev sent a lot of separated garbage at the bottom here. It's going to give him a good amount of time to send this big chain block at the top. There's going to be a quick clear from Hookbill here, but will it be enough? Yes, it will. But because of that, we got Piranha giving Darkwing a little bit of trouble. This is going to be a force kill. So Darkwing going to finish it out at 46 seconds. But it gave Dev a good amount of time here. Let's see if he can get something started very quick on Piranha and possibly make this a pretty tight game heading into Kamek and Bowser. He didn't get the greatest start though at the beginning here. And he's still going to be digging and trying to look for something. The 6 chain's going to be pretty solid. It's not going to top off though, so Dev's still trying to dig a little bit deeper here to get Naval topped off. Meanwhile, Kamek raised their stack a little bit and almost resulted in a super quick kill for Darkwing's side. But instead, Kamek's going to continue to be living. Possibly a similar result as a Piranha on his side. But he did find the appropriate follow-up now. Kamek will be topped off and have enough time for at least 1 clear.
And gets the free chain.
Going to do another one here, but you gotta think unless these blues connect, which they will do, that could have ended up being a death. And those yellows are in a really good position as well, so this could be a further troll here. Dev's still gotta find a chain though. And Kamek's not going to go for the yellows, so Darkwing barely slipping that sub 1 minute time. Lead going into Bowser, and Dev's still got to find a lot more to top off Kamek here. This is good for Darkwing to take game number 1.
Yeah, it's looking good for Darkwing, especially since Devolition has some troubles topping off Kamek.
Ooh, that was a super cool 9 combo happening on Darkwing's side. He had these greens lined up perfectly, and there happened to be another clear just falling into place on top as well. Gonna give decent pressure for him at the beginning, as Dev was a little bit short on pressure there, but ended up getting that last little bit of garbage to fall at the top. Dev has a pretty good chance here, because I don't know after this chain if Darkwing had Bowser topped off. We'll have to see all the garbage that falls here, if it ever does, because Bowser is chaining away. Look at this, 9 chain, 10 chain coming in. If Darkwing does not have him topped off, this could be bad.
Oh, this might be the opportunity Dev needs to maybe steal this game.
Maybe the pillars are going to pose a little bit of a situation. Second tier coming to the rescue. There's going to be so much lag, and it's going to take a while for Darkwing to send another follow-up here. Because I got to imagine, since Bowser cleared all that garbage, Darkwing's going to be a little bit short again. So here's Dev's opportunity to steal this lead very late in the race. Yep, there it is. One more line on Darkwing's side. Oh, it's going to be super close. Darkwing dropping that chain, so we'll top off Bowser. But then again, he has a lot of panels at his disposal. He's going to get the clear, try to do some chains. Off the down
Still
stack.
not topped off. Wow.
Oh, this could be good on Dev's side. There's no immediate clear there. He's going to have to down stack, and there's not much stop time. And he dies at the frame perfect moment. The blues all lined up, but 1 frame short in order for them to clear. Dev stealing this race right at the end, man. Yeah, and our first look at Bowser in this series isn't a pretty one, man. He likes to ruin everyone's dreams, and that's exactly what he did to Darkwing. 2 minutes and counting still on this fight. And yeah, that's all that made the difference. Darkwing kind of struggled to top him off at the beginning. And when he finally did top him off, Bowser had that 10 chain ready and sent to him to just delay Darkwing so much into sending another follow-up. And that's why it took him like an additional 1 minute to kill him at the end there. 12 minutes, you know, not a bad time. Just shake off the first game there, get back into the groove. You got plenty more games to make up here in the series.
If there's something I've seen a lot, it's 2 O's changing into 2 2s going into a 5th match, so nothing is lost yet.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit in multiple sets, man. It's funny, most of them have been prevented the reverse sweep too, because the next person will win that next 2 matches, but then the other person recovers and ends up winning the 3rd.
Did we actually see a reverse sweep?
I don't think it's happened, actually.
I don't think...
In all of our 3-2 sets, we've either had, like you mentioned, players trying to come back, or we've just had, like, some back and forth. Like with Shadow and Paratroopa's set, that was Paratroopa won games 1, 3, and 5, and Shadow won 2 and 4.
Yeah, that's true, actually. And all the other matches, I think, I mean, between FFR Pro and I Like Being Smart, it was FFR, it was Thomas who got on 2-0, and then Nicole came back 2-2, and Thomas prevented it.
Yep,
the same happened with Nicole on Peter's match, but then in her favor.
Yep, same thing happened in your match in your favor.
Against Cozy, yes. That's definitely true.
And then your other 3-2, that was a back and forth one, I believe, with Yume, wasn't it?
I believe I started 1-0, then he pulled it back, then I got ahead again with a 2-1, and then he pulled off 2 games in a row.
Oh yeah, that's right. He had, what, 2 sub-9s in a row?
Yeah, 2 sub-9s in a row. That was insane.
Yeah, he had a really good performance there. Then he ran into the unstoppable wall that is Cards, and Cards has not dropped a single race all tournament, man. He is definitely the player to beat. But yeah, it looks like we are just about ready to hop into this game number 2 right now. Both the entrants are readying up. I'd say, you know, most of the time it's always just inconsistencies that get one another. And that's definitely what we saw here. There were a number of stages Darkwing was just a little short on topping off. And with Bowser, he had all that pressure sent to him. And it was just really hard to find his chains and combos after that point, because he had all the lag on his screen, all the clear animation from that 10 chain he had to deal with. So, you got to make these beginning chains count. But regardless, it's a whole new game. Chance to redeem yourself here. Darkwing starting out with that 15 in the first race. He's going to follow it up with a very nice 21 as well. Whereas Lakitu has been giving Dev a couple of troubles here and there. It was still sub 30 last race. Going to be a little bit worse with the 33 here. Giving Darkwing that slight edge here at the beginning.
Yeah, so besides we just add a couple of seconds, we're basically the same compared to last match. Darkwing just a couple seconds ahead of Devolition.
Darkwing going to get that nice 15-second here. Looking good for the beginning here. Dev's like, you know what, I'll match you. It'll be 1 second slower, but still pretty damn good with that 16-second there.
Yeah, Dev's all like, you're not running away from me that quick.
Oh, that's like one of the best feelings in this game, is just getting a sub 20-second fight anywhere. You just know you sent the perfect amount of garbage on your end, and the opponent either was playing with a high play field or didn't manage to get to their clear in enough time. Now we got Darkwing potentially pulling a little bit ahead with a kind of decisive lead right now, as Dev's still looking for this follow-up on Poochie, and he's struggling so much on this match. He's kind of he had that pillar at the left there with some low rows of panels, and all he's been able to find are these 2 chains right now, which Poochie's been able to clear out very easily. He's got to raise a stack or clear this garbage at the top, and he needs to find this kill right now. Darkwing already threatening a full stage lead, but looks like this stage is going to give him troubles as well. Looking for this chain, gets that 3 chain there. Dev going to clean up the stage at 106. So despite him losing all that time, it looks like he can make it all back up here, because now Darkwing, it took him a while. He gets this 5 chain on board, which still might not be enough. Yeah.
It isn't. Yeah, but I can imagine Dev not feeling good about that last stage. Taking a minute in any stage is just something you don't want to see. But then again, it's happening to Darkwing right now. Purples are lined up well, he can get the clear there, and that's it. 1 minute and 23 seconds.
Oh, it's been a rough beginning for both of our competitors right now. 3:30 after Wiggler, that's definitely a time you don't like to see.
Look at Dev's screen though, he got 3 free chains of that on X4 for Wiggler there.
And a 9 combo.
And another free chain, wow!
Dude, Wiggler going in, man. Luckily, Dev did have enough garbage to top him off of 57 seconds. That's one of the true bad trolls we've seen so far during this match. Like, that is very uncharacteristic from Wiggler. You won't see that too much. And even worse for Dev, about 4 minutes here starting Froggy. That's can be on pace to like starting the cave at 8 minutes, which is very below average for this main bracket set of competitors. The only good thing for him is that it hasn't been a good run for Darkwing as well right now. 44 seconds for him now. It's like, I think it's been bad luck here and there, but it's just been drops as well from both the opponents.
Yeah, definitely. Both seem to struggle a lot with topping up their opponents at this point. Although it seems like, once again, Darkwing found a little bit of air there. What I've seen from in Froggy, he did get a 7 chain, but he didn't just give any garbage, which led to the fact that he didn't top him off. But a 7 chain on itself is not that bad at all.
Yeah, for sure. 7 chain providing 6 lines of garbage can be good in some cases, but you do want that insurance. Usually just that little bit extra to top off opponents. Dev following up with 31 seconds right afterward too. And yeah, as we mentioned, it's just implementing that combo game can be so tough, and it can be your worst enemy at some points too when you don't top off your opponent. Because if they manage to start clearing the garbage you sent to them, it gives them all that ammunition to strike back and waste time against you again. So you really gotta find that nice balance.
And it's tough to find that balance.
Darkwing looking to get this kill soon on Lungefish, doing a bunch of clears. These 2 pillars should lead to the kill, and there it is. Another 40+ second on Darkwing's side. As you can see, the pace has been a lot slower for both. Dev following it up a little bit quicker time there, and he's going to be gaining some ground. But look, we're starting Raphael at 6.5 minutes in. It's potential that both of these players will start the cave past 7 minutes right now. Darkwing, he has a pretty good follow-up here that should top off Raphael. He's lowering his stack. He almost gets to the greens, but Darkwing doing a very good job of layering the combo garbage for the first time in a while in this set. So he will be the first person moving onto the cave. But yeah, you gotta think, if either one of them is not watching one another or the restream, which they might, it's all personal preference depending on how you want to play. But in the case that you're not watching and you're starting the cave at 7:30, you gotta wonder where your opponent's at and if you start taking bigger risks or not.
Yeah, I just said it's a little bit personal what you do. I usually just don't watch the feed. I'm just trying to focus on my gameplay a lot. But when I have runs like this where it just get 40 seconds over and over, at some point I'm just like, okay, I'm not winning this match anyway, let's just free roam. And sometimes that helps to my advantage.
Yeah, it can help relieve the pressure a little bit from you, and you just, you know, play more comfortable. And in this case, it would help both of our competitors here, because if you're playing a little bit more relaxed, you're definitely not out of the race, considering Darkwing is still in the lead of this race, despite the pace being at 8.5 minutes now with 3 stages left to go. So yeah, it's still up in the air for anyone at this point. Likely to see another tie at Bowser coming up here. Ooh, Darkwing doing a very nice job extending this chain. He found the perfect clear at the bottom to get that 6 combo incorporated. And this won't be enough yet to top off Naval, but if he sends just a couple more lines, this should be good. We'll see that 2 chain falling, and just a little bit short there. Meanwhile, Dev now has the chance Piranha topped off, but he's in the same situation too, where he's going to send a couple more lines. That 3-chain will help with 2 more lines at the top. But Darkwing getting the kill first at 43 seconds. I think we might see a similar time for Dev, though we got the 6 combo clear coming at the top. We might see a kill with no garbage at the very top. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Technically, there was a garbage block in the middle, but it was ultimately just that left pillar that ended up killing Piranha there. He makes up 3 seconds, makes this ever so much closer here.
Oh, that was a sweet mid-air swap from Darkwing Duck. Getting that 5 chain and 4 combo. And his follow-up seems to be pretty good as well.
Yep, this should top off Kamek for a little bit. Dev being a little bit short on his end. So if he gets this proper follow-up here, we could see it very even to see whose Kamek just gives up first. Both going for second tier options right now. Devs might die first. I don't see any chains falling. And they die at the same time!
Not only that, Darkwing's Kamek actually had a chain falling, but he swapped the panels last second, which killed him.
Oh, good job, Kamek. Well, I'm glad he did that, because now it's dead even heading into this race too, man.
Oh, you have a tight game here.
Yeah, Darkwing badly needs this, because going down 2-0. I mean, we've seen the pattern, people attempt to make the comeback, but so far we have not seen any of the reverse sweeps, so you want to try to get these games early on as you can. Bowser going for chains. He has 3 pillars here. This could be a really rough situation for Bowser, and he just dies. So Darkwing's Bowser playing very, very nice for him. When you just see multiple pillars like that and your opponent has to go into stack lowering mode, it's the best situation possible. Dev gonna follow up shortly with the 36-second himself. Not bad on his end either, but it's gonna be hard to compete with a Bowser like Darkwing had. So that was a super close set to the very end. I can't believe we had a synced Bowser. I'm not sure if we've had like an exact tie Bowser heading into the last stage. Probably a couple times, but that was almost literally frame for frame.
I know we have seen like close Bowsers, but as you said, like frame by frame Bowsers, I don't know.
Well, as I mentioned, that was the game Darkwing needed. We're not going to have any 2-0 leads this time, but we might have another game 5 because it is tied 1-1. Momentum switching back and forth, and it's good to see Darkwing. He recovered a lot after that poor start at the beginning, and so did Dev actually, because he made up a lot of that time. So both of them having, you know, relatively decent caves.
Yeah, both caves were not bad at all. I mean, we've seen Dev getting more than 1 minute on Poochie, and then Darkwing following up with more than 1 minute on Wiggler.
Yeah, it was like, as soon as one person had bad RNG, the other person's game's like, let's keep this close, man. I'm gonna troll you as well.
I mean, close games is what we want to see, right?
Of course, man. It's something I'm almost expecting at this point of the tournament now, just because we've been giving in so much. I'm expecting the entire losers bracket to be nothing but 3-2s.
Oh, that would be amazing.
But yeah, 1-1. Both having a very similar game plan, because I noticed, I'd say Darkwing's being a little bit more chain heavy right now. I know he does incorporate a little bit more combos than Dev, but they're very similar play styles between both of them. And it's just finding that chain once again at the beginning that's going to propel one of these two to a victory at the end of the day. Lakitu's been pretty nice for both of them so far. Let's see if that trend continues as we're underway for race number 3 now.
Oh, look at the start of Dev. That's just good.
Yeah, huge chain falling down, and look at all that combo garbage.
Yeah. That was a really good start.
As the term was invented by the great Blenzer, the Noodles just fell and instantly killed his opponent there at the end. So Dev going to have the lead for the first time here, heading out of Lakitu, but it hasn't meant too much, obviously, with only 3 seconds in this current match. And Dev basically, he did not have the lead that entire match, did he? He was only tied at the very end. And now he's pulling out 12 seconds, man. This guy's like, all right, let's erase that early game from last race. Let's start super strong now. Oh yeah, Yoshi. Now it's the spaghetti. Oh, frame perfect kill on Darkwing's side. Second time we've seen that now in the series.
What is happening over at Dev screen? Is this controller just dying?
Oh, that might be the case. I'm not too sure.
He was not moving at all.
That's probably what happened, is he's not pressing start or anything here. This could be
oh no,
very, very bad right now. We'll check in with him and see if we can let you guys know what is indeed happening on that side. Hopefully he can figure it out soon, because this is going to be wasting a lot of time for him right now, as he did have that beautiful early game start. In the meantime, we'll keep up with Darkwing's side and see what he's doing. 37 seconds on Poochie here.
Yeah, Darkwing definitely a lot faster than last game.
Yeah, wasn't it at 3.5 minutes during Wiggler last time? On the close side to 4 minutes, actually.
Then again, he had his big time loss at Wiggler. So it might still not be faster. But looking at this, it looks very good for him. And that 7 chain, that should be enough. Oh, not yet.
Alright, so we got a little bit of a personal issue right now. We're actually going to restart this race because of it, but yeah, we're going to take a brief intermission before these things get settled right now. So luckily we will get to see a restart and not see Dev at a major disadvantage at the beginning here. Yeah, well, while that's happening, we could flash back over to the bracket and talk about some potential upcoming matches and whatnot, Wiki.
Yeah, sure. I've heard Thursday's gonna be a pretty interesting day.
Yeah, Thursday is going to be pretty packed. We'll show you guys a schedule. Actually, let's just bring that up right now, because we're getting to the thick of things at the end here. And so we're only going to see a couple matches a week now. Like, we had this late match here, so not including that. We only have those 2 in losers and then the 1 match in winners with a couple redemption bracket matches. But we have a lot of those scheduled currently. And so, yeah, we'll take a look at the schedule right now. And tomorrow, we're going to have Edo Bean versus Shady Jakey. This is going to be the 3rd place match in redemption bracket because we are to the final week in that. We're most likely going to have to wait on Raiko Rider versus Raphael in the finals until next week due to Games Done Quick Express happening this weekend. So we'll have to tune in to that whenever it gets scheduled. But Shady Jakey versus Edo Bean, 2 players that have been in the speedrunning community forever. So that should be pretty interesting. Yeah, Wiki, I forgot that it was happening this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's this week. All right, I need to keep an eye out on that.
But yeah, Thursday, we say it's a big one because that's where me and Wiki will be playing our next matches. Me versus FFR Pro. That's going to be a rematch of grand finals of the last Tetris Attack speedrun tournament. So that's going to be a really, really good one. I would personally recommend you, not only because I'm playing, but just it's going to be a great match, hopefully. Hopefully I can deliver to that. But yeah, and then Wiki and Paratroopa are going to be following that up as well. Paratroopa, one of the most improving players, as well as you, Wiki. You both have been stepping up your games as this tournament's been going on. So that's going to be a very good match to watch as well.
Yeah, once again, I hope I can deliver as well. It's going to be a tough match. I've seen Paratroopa play against... I think I've seen him play... so far all his matches in the bracket, and especially against Kart, he was playing really good, but just Kart was from a whole nother level. That's mainly what happened there.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
and
Paratroop is a really good player, and it's gonna be tough. Definitely.
He's been doing the most analytics out of any person in this tournament so far, and I think he's really found a lot of his flaws and trying to improve on them. So he's only going to continue to get better, and if he happens to beat you, Wiki, I would consider that an upset, but he has a really good shot to win the next round afterward, because he would play the loser of me versus FFR Pro, and if he's able to beat a high-level talent one time, he could definitely pull it off 2 times in a row.
I mean, at this point, I think I've said it like 1,000 times before. We're here in top 12, and every opponent is tough, no matter what. Every match, there is no easy match at this point anymore. I think in this stage, almost everybody is able to win from everybody. Especially since a lot of the PBs are just so close together at this point.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, we probably have a 4th match that I could almost guess what day it's going to be scheduled once the conclusion of this current match happens. Because they will be playing the winner, or they'll be playing Nicole in the next round. And she almost always plays her matches on Friday. So we could see 3 days in a row of Tetris Attack action. I think those will be our only 4 matches for the week, I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm also very interested to see that the winner from that match, to look even further forward, is going to play Yume, and Yume is also a really terrifying opponent. I mean, I've experienced in playing him, so I think I know.
Yeah, that was a slobber knocker of a match for sure, and he did not quit at the end with those last 2 races, as we mentioned earlier on. So this final 8, once it's determined, it is not going to be any easy matches, especially with, like, once we get to the losers quarterfinal spot when it is the last 6, man, all these players will most likely have PBs within the range of like 8:30 or less. A lot of them averaging times in the either low 10-minute or 9-minute range throughout the entire tournament. And
yeah, I think at that point it's just about who is the most consistent on that day. I think that's gonna decide who wins the match or not.
Take a look at the redemption bracket really quickly too while we have the time. As you can see, that last 2 matches there. Ryko Ryder coming in at the 6th seed. He had the forfeit over Tayman, but a very convincing win over Shady Jakey, as you see right there. We've only done the redemption bracket showcase twice now, and Ryko Ryder was the winner of the very first one, so now he's looking to repeat his championship there, and he's a player that just continues to improve as the tournament goes on as well. He gets back in the groove. Raphael, though, he got a sub-9 PB during the last chance qualifier, which was just a little bit short of being able to make that main bracket spot. So now he's looking to redeem himself here, and I would say he is the heavy favorite in that match still. So it'd be very exciting to see that when it comes up.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that match as well.
But now it looks... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, even in redemption bracket, things are just pretty close together, because we've seen Shady Jakey and Ryko Ryder with a 3-0 for Ryko, but it doesn't mean the matches weren't close.
For sure, I heard we had a really close finish there during Game 3. I actually have to go back and watch it still, but yeah, the scores can't tell the full story of the situation most of the time, but... As you guys can see now, we have had all of our issues sorted out. Here's our clean restart on Game 3. This time Darkwing going to be on top. So technically, since we're racing that race that got interrupted, Dev has not had the lead after Lakitu any of the times now. It's all been Darkwing. But you know what this means, Wiki? We had the fabled Game 4 during group stage. We could have the fabled Game 6 during main bracket now.
Oh man, that would be quite something.
We always like to see more and more Tetris Attack action, and this one's definitely on pace for it right now. Darkwing still maintaining a little bit of a lead right now as Dev's kind of just sprinkling small garbage. It looks like it'll be just enough with, I think it was just 1 row to spare at the very top.
Yeah, I think he had about enough, just exactly enough garbage there. But yeah, interesting that you're talking about the fabled Game 6. That at least means we're definitely going to get a technical Game 5, regardless.
Yeah, that is true. So technically every single match has gotten to Game 5 in loser's bracket. But we'll see if they actually get that 3-2 scoreline at the end. I would not be surprised with the amount this has been going back and forth. All it takes is either a troll or a couple missed chains here and there. And it looks like we're in contention for our first lead swap of this match so far, as Darkwing has not been able to get anything started on Wiggler right now.
Wiggler has not been Darkwing's friend today.
Yeah, not at all, man. Trolling him for 1 minute plus earlier. Looks like he could get the kill. He's going to be 1 line short, but the purples are going to be there anyways to delay that. But he's still going to have to dig, because look, that 2 chain's not going to do enough. Another one piled up on top. He's still got to find one more 2 chain. This could actually probably do it, but Dev's finished Wiggler, and he's going to be taking the lead.
You know what's really ironic about the fact that Wiggler has not been Darkwing's friend? Wiggler is the character Darkwing picks in the cave.
That is true, man. Maybe it's a message from Wiggler. He's like, I'm sick of dealing with this RNG in the final 4 stages. Please quit picking me.
It could be that, but it could also be like, hey, I'm a tough cookie, pick me.
Well, if anything, this stage going a lot better for Darkwing. Going to cut off his chain, which I think that was a smart decision. He's got to wait for the stack to raise, but it's going to technically be a force kill. I guess he could have got clears there, but it wasn't going to do anything for Froggy afterward.
Nah, he couldn't recover from that regardless.
So now Darkwing making up a little bit of time, virtually even. Only 4 seconds separates both of these guys. And we're about halfway through the run. Yeah, as you mentioned, they both have been picking up a little bit of pace here, especially compared to that race 2. Even though Darkwing managed to win that race 2, it's probably one he doesn't want to remember, because it was just kind of like, hey, I lucked out. My opponent was just playing slightly worse than me. That's how I managed to get it. But you gotta think with that little disturbance we had in the middle of the set there, if that's going to ruin any of the momentum that one of these players could have had built up. Because Dev had those 2 quick stages at the beginning of the second run there. He had the Lakitu, I think it was like 20 seconds, and then Bumpty was 12 seconds. So he had a super fast run going, had it interrupted, and then he had a little bit of a lackluster start. So far, Blarg is not being his friend. I don't know what Blarg was going for there. He had those greens perfectly lined up at the top, but he wasn't even going to go for him. I think he was going for a 5 combo that was a little bit smaller. Did Darkwing die?
Yeah, he did.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah, he did.
Well, I heard you guys like tie games, so here's another one for you.
I must admit, I have no idea what happened on his screen, though.
Seems what the case for most user deaths in this game, man. It just takes everyone by surprise if you just have, like, one pillar that's a little bit too tall, and that stop time can be deceiving against you. And you really got to be making clears or down stacking, or else you could die pretty quickly. Which I imagine that's what caused the death. Left pillar as said in chat there, so yeah. You just got to be super careful, because I've seen so many deaths, even from top players. Well, these guys are top players, so... We'll say from, like, the gods, then. Everybody in this game has had those deaths.
It happens to all of us. Looking good for Dev. Yeah, he's taking the lead there.
So yeah, we got another really close one here heading into the cave. The pace is probably a little bit slower still from what these guys want. Still a step up from race 2, I believe. Dev was going into the cave at above 8 minutes, I want to say. But now, this is where both of them will have to step up. Darkwing's still trying to get past Raphael here. Oh, that clear buying Raphael just enough time to get that 5 combo. And because of that, Dev cleaning up Hookbill very quickly there. He had a really good chain starter at the beginning. He's pulling off to a pretty good lead right now. It's Darkwing still trying to get the kill on Raphael right now. Did Raphael really have a ×7 chain? I was...
Oh my god.
The madness of this guy, dude.
To be fair, I think in all my runs, Raphael has been the biggest troll ever. Even worse than Bowser.
We've seen our fair share of even multiple 2+ minute Raphaels during this tournament.
maybe we should ask Thomas and Nicole about that one. Was it Thomas and Nicole?
Yeah, that was something,
it was,
to say the least.
It was Thomas for sure. I don't know if it was Nicole as well.
I think they both had a bad one, but Thomas's was by far like one of the most trolly ones. Because of that, no, it's been setting Darkwing back quite a bit right now. Dev with a commanding lead with only 2 stages to go, he even has a small chance to get that sub 10. It would be pretty hard at that point. He would need Kamek to cooperate, Kamek and Bowser to cooperate here. He's gonna just look to clean up in just, you know, a decent time. He doesn't need anything too fancy at this point. Yeah, Darkwing trying to claw back a little bit, but Dev has some good pressure. Kamek's gonna lower the stack. If topped off, would have been a forced kill, but had to raise the stack and not enough time to react. Dev handed a gift there. Another frame perfect kill. I don't know if I've seen this many in one series so far, but they've been happening left and right. One for each game, apparently. But because of that, Dev's cave has been pretty spectacular right now. He's found himself with a huge lead here on Bowser. Bowser's gonna have to troll for probably 3+ minutes if Dev wants a, or Darkwing wants a chance to win this set, or this game.
It can happen. It can happen.
Dev with a decent start at the beginning here. 2 separate chains gonna pile on pretty well. He still has a pretty good amount of panels. He's gonna go to work on setting up his next chain here. Just a little bit too slow. And, oh, Bowser getting that clear in enough time. Oh, and the yellows falling in place are gonna save Bowser for the time being. He's still gotta try to find another clear, though. The green's going to be lined up. He did not set up anything. Could this be it? There it is. So now we got Dev. He's taking race number 2, taking the lead back in this set. Only 1 game away from moving into the top 8.
I see a little bit of a deja vu happening, considered what happened between Paratroop and Shadow this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Those guys were literally back and forth. Dev and Darkwing so far have been that way as well. I'd say Dev, he dismantled the cave in this run, though. It could have just been he was playing really, really hot for a couple stages, or maybe he just figured out how he was dropping chains and whatnot, but that was a huge factor in deciding this race, and if he's able to replicate that, he could maybe ruin the streak here and end up winning at a 3-1 favor. But I will definitely not count Darkwing out by any means. Looks like he had something pretty decent here. Goes for second tier to secure his survival right now. And just looking for a couple more things to fall into place. Bowser getting that second tier clear, but you gotta think he is most likely dead.
Yeah. That was a good thought.
Alright, so now we are in that life or death situation now. Darkwing's got to win 2 to take the set. Dev's only got to win 1. He's got that 1 game to work with, too, if he wants to experiment with some things in this next game.
Yeah, definitely taking the hot seat here. And for his sanity, he wants this next game, though. If it goes to another deciding last game... Oh, man, the pressure.
Dude, if it goes to last game, I can't believe that all 4 games went to game 5. That is pretty nuts.
I'm still recovering from all the heart attacks I had last weekend. Gives it. I mean, I want to see a game 5, which technically is a game 6, but it also gives a break.
Yes, that's the most important part, dude. The fabled game 6, dude. That's what we all came here for. Maybe even have someone start on the wrong difficulty and force another restart, and we'll have the fabled game 7.
Oh no.
I think that's a little bit like too high of hopes for me, though. That might be for something many years down the road. But here we go. Looks like both of our competitors are ready. Jumping into this 4th race. As we mentioned, Dev is on match point, and this is loser's bracket, so the loser is out of the tournament for good. Alright, so far, Darkwing setting up something big. It took him almost 10 seconds to get something started, and then he dropped the chain immediately at the beginning. I'm not sure what he's looking for. He pulled that 4 chain out, very surprisingly, though. I didn't think he was going to get to all those pieces, but he was trying a different approach here at the beginning to just set something up very, very large, but it didn't end up working out. And that's going to cost him a bit of time, as Dev's going to actually take his first lead out of Lakitu now, disregarding the restarted game. And Dev, man, he's looking pretty good right now. Found these first 2 chains of both these stages very, very quickly. Some decent follow-ups too, which should top off Bumpty. And yes, a lot of stop time, but still not enough for those 3 pillars Bumpty had to lower. With a cursor speed similar to mine, you ain't gonna get there. I guess I should give myself more credit. If I were that slow, I probably wouldn't be able to beat very hard. But yeah, because of that, Dev, he's got a solid lead, but Darkwing had a good Bumpty himself and makes up quite a bit of time here. And so it's only about a little over 10 seconds. Dev gonna get that nice 17-second off of Poochie, though.
Yeah, Dev with a good start here. Oh, but Darkwood with the 13 seconds, which just it starts to balance out already.
You know, Darkwing got that slow start and didn't make a clear till about 10 seconds in on stage 1. I think it was just the RNG manipulation, and now Darkwing's got everything figured out from this point on. It's gonna be nothing but sub 20-second stages right now. Look, he gets another nice chain here to begin with. Extends it out because he sees Wiggler with a kind of low stack here. Falling into place. And what do you know? Sub 20 seconds.
Wow.
Darkwing very on point with his execution there, as Dev was a little bit short. Luckily going to get this 38-second kill, but I don't know, maybe something just ignited in Darkwing's brain after that first match, and now he's finding chains a lot easier now. Going to at least get a 6 chain here. He's going to extend it out to a 7, very similar to the last round. Make that an 8. And that was
a smart decision.
Yeah, that was super smart too. It's going to be 1 line short, but who can blame him with Froggy with only 2 lines of panels at the bottom? This should lead to a kill with this tiny drop at the beginning, unless he can get to the greens, which he will do, unfortunately. And he might be able to get to the reds now, because there'll be a little bit of shake at the top. I can't blame Darkwing there. That was very smartly played, and he had that nice A chain with the 6 combo, and I believe like a 4 combo included as well. Like, he's sent plenty of lines. Just sometimes that will happen to you.
Yeah, I think there was nothing he could have done there to make that faster.
His run's still going pretty solid right now, carried by a lot of those sub-20 stages in a row. And his chains have been on point, which is the smart thing here. And look at this, another 6 chain. He's gotten at least like a 6 chain, I think, in 5 stages straight now.
Yeah, it seems like Darkwing definitely stepped up to, in this game at least.
He's looking good for this kill. Probably not going to be any trolls here. No chains dropping in place. Goodbye, Blarg. Dev, man, he's just been struggling with Froggy here. Finally going to be closing out at 127. I think he was having a topping out issue for majority of that match, but ended up getting a pretty good sized chain towards the end of it. That's going to lead to the kill, but he finds himself at a full stage deficit this early. Let's see if Darkwing can continue this chain streak right now. He's going to have another 6 combo included. The chain's going to drop, unfortunately. He almost could have got a kill, though, but Lungefish quickly to drop that pillar down. And Darkwing going to play aggressive and race a stack in order to find another big chain here. Gonna get probably enough here. 1 line short, but it's not going to be enough time for Lungefish to find the clear, so good play again by Darkwing.
Yeah, Darkwing basically on point with his output right now.
Meanwhile, Dev's going to have Blarg topped off for a while here. It's just if Blarg's going to stop clearing, this should lead to death on his side as well. 47 seconds. Not what you want, but you'll take it. My motto for this game is, it can always be worse.
That's always true.
At least something to clear your head with, even though you don't want to completely accept the 40-second time. But
and you also need to accept that sometimes it's just out of your reach. There's just nothing you could have done.
We got Darkwing with the fastest pace run of this series so far. Our first sub-6 heading into Cave here. This is looking good. It seems like he's just been playing better here, finding more setups. Going to go, oh, he is going for a frame perfect swap there at the bottom to try to extend that chain. Gets the slide trick though, so he's going to find this follow-up pretty quickly. It's not going to be enough on Hook Bill's side because I don't think he's sending garbage with that, or any combo garbage with that chain. So he's going to have to continue to put on pressure. But Hook Bill is sending a lot of pressure back to Darkwing. And Darkwing is just going to have to take the time to start clearing it here. It sucks, but you got to make sure your opponent's topped off and you keep going for cheeky, quick combo garbage kills. Then you can continue to find the situation extended over and over. And he does take the time to find that chain, and he's rewarded with it. It wasn't too much longer afterward to get the kill.
Yeah, looking at Darkwing, he has a significant lead right now. Once again, Devolition a little bit trouble topping off his opponent. Oh, look at Rayfall.
Oh, there's
just
a 4 chain.
4. Yeah, just 3, man.
Not quite a 7 chain, but definitely still very trolly to keep this match going. 1 minute, 1 second, almost at that 8-minute mark. Another rough game for Devolition here. It's like the even number games are not his friend right now. He finds him in quite the same deficit that Darkwing was this last race here.
But I mean, if the even games are not in your favor, I mean, then you gotta love the 5th game, right?
Of course. If the pattern does stay true to itself. It's all been about patterns, I feel like. I've been able to analyze everything in those regards. It's either like every other game or win 2, lose 2. The Tetris Attack gods are speaking to us right now. Darkwing, very nice combo set up there. Gets that 7 chain, a good amount of combos mixed in between. Kamek's going to have a lot of panels and most likely going to waste some time, but Darkwing did his job to keep Kamek topped off. He probably won't be able to find any space at the top anymore. And no immediate clear at the top. Kamek's going to have to rely on some chains, get rid of more of the utility on his screen. He's still doing so, though. Gets the purples with the amount of lag that's on the screen. Might go for the blues as well. But the way they were set up, they're going to end up clearing. And look at Dev. Quick send in the separated pillars on Piranha's side. And classic Tetris Attack. You're not out of it until it's over. And even with this stage, you know, just going to a minute, which isn't too uncommon on Kamek, Dev has crawled all the way back, and now he's going to be facing just a little bit less than a stage lead. So Darkwing's Bowser's got to be good here, or Dev could steal this race at a 3-1 victory.
Yeah, what for 2 times in a row now, it seems like Devolition has his cave game on point though. Because in last match this was also his cave that was just really, really solid.
He's got to hope to have Kamek topped off here as he down stacks. It looks like he probably will. 1 line short, but the follow-up's going to be good enough. And this is crucial if he can get this kill quickly. Which, there's going to be yellows and second tier. Let's see what Kamek decides to go for here. Going up to the second tier, that was good for him. Not enough time to do so. But Darkwing has a really good setup on Bowser here. There is going to be some shake time now dropping. And Bowser's just finding chains coming out from everywhere. So, is Dev going to be able to steal this game and prevent the game 5?
Well, game 6, technically.
Game 6.
You gotta prevent the
Darkwing scared me too because he had that right pillar, dude. I think he has enough sent to Bowser as Dev's still trying to build his follow-up chain right now. Let's see how Bowser down stacks on Darkwing's. Darkwing actually has probably got to keep continuing this chain. He's going to drop it. Dev's Bowser, meanwhile, is finding some chains as well. And oh no, that's a death on Darkwing's side. Oh no, this is super bad. Now Dev is in the advantageous spot right now. He's got a decent amount sent to Bowser here. And Bowser can't raise the stack up, but the greens are going to be lined up. Dev, if he would have dropped that chain just a little bit early. And look, Bowser has the chain set up. He's going to continue to look for stuff. The greens and the yellows, can he get to it? He can!
Yes. This is so back and forth.
Oh, is he going to be able to find the clear? Look at that cursor speed getting to the blues. He's got a chance to delay this. There's not going to be any shake time, but if he finds a clear...
But there's got to be a chain.
There's got to be a chain. Oh, there is! Bowser with a lot of panels. Now he has more time. Darkwing still able to get back into this. But Bowser has a huge chain sent to Darkwing, and Darkwing's got to take the time here. So he's still got to hope for a big troll on Dev's side.
Well, it's happening. Another chain falling.
Oh, that
Bowser
death,
on Dev's
man.
side. Yeah.
Bowser gonna down stack, and it's just not enough at the end. Dev preventing another game 5 here in loser's bracket, and the heartbreaking death there by Darkwing's gonna knock him out of the tournament. Oh man, he was in a good position too, and he's gonna take another death, dude. It's been a brutal Bowser stage for him so far. Oh man, that's so sad. You hate to see someone's tournament end like that, but you know, that's Bowser for you, dude. He'll troll you. He'll send a lot of pressure for you. And I'm not sure if Darkwing just showing some frustration there or if he's just going to end up forfeiting here at the end. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Probably just venting out some frustration. I don't blame him, man.
No, I can fully agree on that one. I think indeed he is gonna kill them all.
Kill the animals, everybody. Oh, but yeah, that will propel Dev on further in this tournament and preventing yet another Group E rematch happening in this bracket. It was potential we could see Darkwing Duck versus I Like Being Smart, but instead we got DevolitionDerby versus I Like Being Smart. 2 Pokemon Puzzle League main speedrunners, though I bet if you talk to Dev, he prefers Tetris Attack more. I'm not sure which game he's had more hours in. Maybe Tetris Attack by a little bit, but I'd say he's a pretty good generalist when it comes to the series because he's played a lot of the games. Plus, he plays other games like Puyo Puyo as well, and he's dabbled in Tetris. Though Darkwing on the same page too. I'm pretty sure he's done a lot of NES Warriors Woods runs. So, I mean, that's typically when you find top players like that in this kind of genre. They usually play multiple games because, you know, they're just attracted to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. To be fair, like, the only kind of game I play right now is Tetris Attack, but I definitely want to get more involved into PPL. And I guess PPC as well.
But yeah, as we see Darkwing killing off the last couple allies here at the end, we'll go ahead and add Dev in. This was kind of a late match for him, so we'll get him added in here and get his thoughts on everything and see if he knew what happened on Dev's side, or on Darkwing's side rather, during a lot of it. So Darkwing sticking with the Yoshi to try to finish this off, but I think we got Dev in here right now. If you can hear me, dude, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
So I'll keep it brief for you. You took a 3-1, very decisive there at the end. We had some close matches, almost another 3-2 in losers bracket, and I don't know if you caught Darkwing's side in that game 4. He actually had the lead going into Bowser, and he took a death like about a minute in.
Oh no, no, I wasn't watching at all. I was pretty. Once I went up a game on him, I was pretty dedicated to not paying attention to what they were doing. I was pretty focused on what I was doing.
And it looks like it paid off for you, man. We could definitely tell those last couple of games you seemed focused. I believe it was in game 3 specifically. Your cave was just really, really good. And you ended up beating Darkwing by like 2+ stages, I think. It was very, very impressive play. But I know you've been dealing with controller issues and whatnot. Was that a factor today? Did you go back to your old controller you were using?
Yeah, so I bought a new controller and it has not worked out for me, so I went back to using the one that has issues. I had a few issues here and there in the matches, and I kind of worked through them. You might have noticed, if you noticed my cursor kind of flying all over the place, my controller's been doing that, or my A button has been going out, so I had to switch to using B for the most of it.
For sure, man. Well, it ended up working out for you in the end. You make it to top 8 and you get your revenge from the last tournament, so GG to that. You're going to be playing Nicole next. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. What do you think about it?
I'm pretty excited about it. It's kind of reminiscent of the last tournament where I actually, I think I knocked Nicole out in the last tournament and then went on to play Darkwing, and he knocked me out. So this will be interesting to see how, if this reverses, I knock Darkwing out and then Nicole knocks me out. We'll see.
For sure, man. But yeah, we just want to thank you for that great display. I know it's pretty late for you right now, man, so I won't keep you any longer. Any last thoughts, or maybe even some shout outs? I know we don't really ask for those, but why not, man?
Nah, man. I'm all good for now. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. And yeah, good luck in your next match, dude.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, that was DevolitionDerby coming on top with that win there. We're gonna get some words from Darkwing pretty quickly too. And man, Wiki, what can you say about that match, just in general, while we're trying to bring him up right now?
A lot of bad luck and bad RNG happening. That's mostly the case. That has mostly been the case this match. And unfortunate death that... I think... Because it was not the first time Darkwing died. I believe he died in the first match as well. Or I could be wrong about that. I don't know exactly. But I think he died there. Yeah, I think he died at Lungfish, which made them... Which led to... which led to the fact that Dev caught up, and that eventually gave Dev the win in the first match. And it happened in the last match again, only this time at Bowser.
Yeah, for for sure. The deaths have costed Darkwing so much, but it's something that happens, man, and sucks to see. But he had a pretty good tournament run up until this point. He had a win over Shadow in that first round, so he didn't get swept throughout bracket stage.
That's true. That's true. And there's also one thing that I would like to point out. You said at the end, you said like Darkwing is going with Yoshi here to beat Bowser, but he had nobody left anymore.
Oh, does it
there was not really a choice.
Does it force you just on Yoshi? I didn't even really notice that. I know he did pick him before, like, killing off the rest of the characters, though, so that's kind of funny. But speaking of Darkwing, I think we do have him in the call right now. DW, can you hear us?
No.
No. All right. I think that's as good of a confirmation as any. And yeah, it was a hard-fought one. I'm sure you're not too happy with how those runs went at the end, especially with the death on Bowser. But I guess just what was going through your mind there at the end of the race number 4?
This is a friendly stream, so maybe I had to be careful on the words I choose here. But it just kind of encapsulated the whole tournament for me. This has been a really frustrating tournament for me in that I played better 5 years ago than I am now, and it's that I can't get back to that level has been a huge frustration. The times have been similar, but the strats are better now. So I should be getting a lot better times than what I've been getting, and I just can't get that. And I've been getting, I mean, the X10 against Bowser in game 1, and the X7 against Raphael, and race 3 just kind of, it's been describe the tournament for me. It's been, I had two 9s in the entire tournament, and that for me, that's a that's maximum of about a 6, just barely over 6 minutes in game time. It's just how and that's just to have like 2 of those the entire tournament is just something I'd never. I could 5 years ago I'd play this, I'd get 9s very commonly. So it's been very kind of figuring out. I don't know what's been going on. I guess I'm just getting old, I suppose.
Yeah, I can understand your frustrations. And as you mentioned, the strats are a lot different now. So you had your fair share of bad luck. Were you going with similar strategies that you did several years ago, or were you trying to implement new things in your gameplay?
No, I put in the new stuff, and I would get like the whatever my PB is in real time. It's 422 in game. Was last year, I think. Just put in new stuff, but for some, I was just falling. Everything was breaking on me. I couldn't do skill chains that I've done for years. Everything was breaking, and doing any sort of combo chaining just wasn't working for me either. The only thing I could hit was I had a few X8 straights, which just isn't usually very helpful in the long run. But I mean, I would hit my 5s and my 6 hits and that, combo 5 and 6 combos frequently enough, but not with combos very well. It's just everything was breaking on me. That's what I got really good at 5 years ago, was not breaking my chains, and I was breaking them all the time now. That's where I've been. That's where the frustration is coming in. Like, I don't know how to avoid the X's from the huge hits from the, like, I probably got 10 or 15 in this tournament alone. Multiple heavy blocks against me against the first 8, which, like, the X7 is kind of the worst of them, but I was getting X4s and against me from Blarg and Lunchfish all the time during the tournament, and just I just didn't know what to do. I've never figured out a good way to prevent that. And if I'm getting at a higher frequency, I'm doing something to warrant it, to welcome it in, and I just couldn't figure it out in time.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's been a pretty up and down experience, and it's been a pleasure to watch you regardless, though, because we saw you fall a little bit short in groups, but you had a really good showing on that last chance qualifier to make it back into main bracket. So we had a
that was the best one of the and it's still, I still had, like, it was 3 matches, right? I had a 9 and then a really low 10 and then like a 11, so it was still wasn't like a great showing, but it was at least not the bad runs I'd have in any other match. Like the best match was the 9-20 in the game 2 against you, but I mean, I should be getting that commonly rather than as a PB for the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. We saw you were 5th place at the 2016 tournament, now finishing 9th in this one. And I guess I'll leave you with this. If this happens to come again, are you going to try to improve upon that and try to deal with the Tetris attack stress one more time?
We'll see. I'm frustrated now, and but we'll see how I feel whenever it comes up. If it's 2 years, like I can't say one way or the other in 2 years. But maybe I don't think I touched it much in the last 2 years. I think I got my PB 422 not too long after. I don't even remember. I'd have to look at my highlights. I could look at it, but it was sometime around that tournament 2 years ago, so maybe it wasn't a year ago, like I said earlier, but I hadn't touched it much since. Was the tournament before or after the SUDQ race?
I think it was before. Yeah, it was leading up to it, so we could.
Okay, it was leading up to. That makes sense. That's right. Because I remember now. And I think I got my PB in between those 2 time periods, and I hadn't touched it much since. I played it here and there, but never really put time into it. And I could not break that. I would and I'd get hit. Like, I didn't get lucked that much. I mean, I'm not complaining about it, but like, I didn't get bailed out a lot, which, you know, I shouldn't be asking for it, but just I didn't feel like I got bailed out much. I got it a few times, especially in practice, but I just didn't get bailed out a lot in this tournament. So I guess that's something to do with it. Like, my opening hits were sketchy at times, and that I guess that was the biggest. Even if it wasn't a huge combo, I should have gotten at least a big chain, and I would break those a lot too. And I just never got luck out of that to get a high stacked opponent or anything like that. They'd always go low or hit me with a bunch of combos, which just, I don't know if I didn't give up necessarily. I just kind of was lost a lot during the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. That's about it for me, but I just thought of one question here at the end, and it was at the beginning of that game 4. Your stages 2 through 6 were really, really smooth afterward, but we saw in stage 1 you were going for some big setup, and it took you about 10 seconds to actually do your first clear there. I'm kind of curious what you were trying to go for.
What I was looking, I remember there was one where I could not see anything outside of the first chain, and I was just kind of, and like anything I saw, I would have broken that opening chain setup. Like my standard thing is, I want to start off with a combo, and one thing when I was really good is that I really got hits very quickly. So I would raise maybe three rows, hit a 4 like before it hit 2 on the clock, and then get an X6 with a 5 put in. So that's 7 lines of garbage within, 8-9 seconds. That's when I was really good. I was pretty consistent at that. And so that's always been my mindset going into the beginning of a thing, is hit a 4 and then hit 5s with or 6s with the chains going through. And I just could not see anything. And what I ended up, I think, going for broke my opening thing, and everything was gone. And it's like, at least it's Lakitu, so I shouldn't get any worse than like a 32. But I think that happened one other time, and like on maybe Wiggler, and I got like a minute plus on a Wiggler one because the opening hit, I just either could not see anything or broke it, and did not get a secondary hit at all, which, you know, if you're sitting there 20 seconds in and your opponent isn't in critical, you're asking for a big time, and that's just failure on my part, which kind of, you know, hits to the frustration. But happens. I lost. I don't have to deal with the frustration anymore, although I'd much rather have continued in the tournament, strangely. But
well, yeah, it's definitely been a bunch of up and downs, but it's been a pleasure to have you. That's probably it for me. I don't know if you had any questions for Wiki or not.
No, not specifically. Honestly, I think we've heard about everything we wanted to know at this point.
oh, I can give you more than you want to know. I can keep going if you want.
Sure thing, why not?
We'll end it off with this, since it is your last match that we'll be seeing on stream, man. Any final thoughts overall of the entire tournament?
Oh man, you made it specific to the tournament. I was gonna say sub to my stream because, you know, that's just who I am. But
sure, why not? Sub to Darkwing _duck_SDA. Everybody.
_SDA, very good. Yeah. Oh, I gotta put that in chat now. There we go. But yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, I had a big life change during this tournament, so it is appreciative that you worked with me on that. So at least you don't have to worry about that anymore. That's the positive.
Hey, it definitely wasn't a hindrance, man, and I'm glad you could work around and still end up playing and not have to forfeit out. So we appreciate that, man, and of course, good luck to you with everything else that you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
All right.